What is up, everyone? I wanted to do a topic that me and my wife, we were discussing this when I was on the road because we're always thinking of new topics. I really like doing these ones too. And this one we were just spitballing, thinking of one, and what to expect when starting a cargo van business. And this is going to be a lot about like expectations because, you know, so many people are contacting me, and it's to the point where like I feel like people go into it with certain expectations. So, and the people that have helped out too, then when they're like, well, what about this? What? So I just wanted to I took some notes on this one, and just what to expect and not to, like, the expectations people have set in their mind, like we did too. We had expectations. So I just wanted to go over a lot of things and what to expect when starting a business. So let's get into it. Okay, so first off, starting the business is stressful, you know, because I got a lot of people who are asking me, oh, I've always wanted to do this, this, and that. And that's the part, like, and the first 2-3 months of just starting it, getting everything lined up, you know, it's very serious buying your van. There's just so many stressors at the beginning. But then when you get past that and you find, you know, how it's going to go, like once you start figuring it out and getting through the hard parts, like I said, we had times where we were like, oh my gosh, what have we done? But now we're super happy. Now, not knowing how the week will go, now that can be obviously like financially, it can be like not knowing where you're going to go, what you're going to go, or where you're going, what's going to happen, you know? Because for, you know, 7 years I had jobs where I just went to them. And that was it, you know, you just went there, you knew, you know, obviously there's variables and things that happen and there's different jobs where there are different things, but it was just, you know, you went there and you punched in and that was the game plan. It was just, that was it. Now also adjusting to life on the road. I'm going to do another video on that at a different point, maybe here soon, you know, but you know, there's just so many things to adjust to, you know, sleeping in your van, missing your family. Cause I think people come into this with grandiose ideas of like, oh, it's going to be, I'm traveling the country, which it is. I love it. I have no problem sleeping in my van. I do miss my family, but that's why we adjusted it to just doing the, you know, 3-4 days, and it's been going great. So that's what I mean. Like, I just feel like people get into this and they're thinking, because I get those questions all the time where they'll be like, you know, but do I have to be gone? And like, some people do have to be. I've seen a lot of people say they're on the road 2-3 weeks or more, and that's cool. That's a really good hustle, and like, you know, they have goals, and we have goals too, but you know, we bought ours outright, and we're really big into budgeting, financing, and my wife also works Saturdays. We have other avenues of revenue that we've been climbing over the past 7 years to do. So it's just like, that's why I'm saying everyone's circumstance is different. If you're, you know, doing this to become, you know, very well off, yeah, then get on the road all the time. I mean, that's why I would say if like I didn't have kids and stuff and a wife, I would just be on the road. Like I would be able to do it all the time. I'd get fishing licenses in every state. Okay, so now, financial adjustment, like just like adjusting your finances, because like I said, like you never know how it's going to go. You know, you get some that you book yourself, you get some that, you know, you find from dispatching companies, you get some from logistics teams that you contact. I mean, it's just, you never know how it's going to go. But what comes out is just freedom, you know, like I'm taking tomorrow and Tuesday off because there's a snowstorm coming in, because we just feel like it. Just we're like, you know, been grinding, you know, doing our weekly 4 days a week, 3-4 days a week. And then finally we're like, you know what, it's going to be a snowstorm. I was ready to roll. And then my wife was like, oh, do you want to just hang out? Because the kids have school off tomorrow too. I'm like, let's do it. Let's take Monday, Tuesday off. And then we're going to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with a goal of 800. Because that's all we need for our bills. But I'll go over that a little bit more in this. No schedule. Now, that can be a good thing and a bad thing, depending on the person. Like, I was psycho with my schedule, and my wife could attest to that. Like, I was like, I go to bed at this time, I wake up at this time, you know, and that's how it was forever. And then it was really strange starting this business. Obviously, there was a lot of stress, but just an example. Last night, me and my oldest one, we watched the All-Star Weekend part of it, and then we play 2K, play our video game like all day on and off, and hung out with the kids. Just like I'm a different person. I let them sit on the TV all day. Like before, I still was a fun dad, but that was just, I'd be like, I want to watch my shows, you know, because I only have this little window till I go to bed to go work for the man again. So the reason I'm saying that is no schedule can be stressful, but at the same time, no schedule can be amazing. And then my kid sometimes, he's still, because he's 16, he's so used to me being so psycho about my bedtime. He's like, it's, you know, I still have a rough time. I go to bed, but he's like, aren't you gonna like get to bed? I was like, remember? And he's like, yeah, it's different now. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's different. When I don't have to do anything because it's my choice, I don't need to go to bed at a certain time. We got little ones, so I try to keep it going to bed at 11 because they're going to be up at 7 or earlier, just being like, what's up? So anyways, weight on your shoulders I put too, because yeah, there's a lot more pressure. It's not like you can just go and punch in, because there is that appeal, dude. I mean, I see the appeal, but once you're on the other side, and a couple of my buddies who are business owners, they told me once you get to the other side, and a couple family members, they said you'll never want to go back. And that's why I understand why people do it though. Like I said, there's no weight on you. Like, you know, if something doesn't work out, it's not like when I had the flat tire, that was on me. I do have AAA and I have roadside assistance with the full coverage, but instead I just try to fix it quick so I get on the road. It ate up like an hour and a half. My dog is sitting over there like, I want to hang out. And I am going to be taking him on the road after the 14th, but he's not the best with vehicles, so I want to give it a try. But anyways, let's keep going. On the road, your location, like it's so important because you never know. You could be, and that's where you live too. Like we're in Minnesota, we're in the Midwest. So it's a lot different. Like that's why a lot of people, and I love answering questions and stuff, but I wanted to make this video because so many people say I live here, I live there. I mean, there's so many places that aren't good. So you will have to go out, and those are the places that, like, you have to be out and you have to be out. But I've heard there's other places, because what I'm understanding is more of the local stuff is working for a company. But also I've heard too, you can do that. But the reason I say that is location is so key. And when you're on the road too, making those split decisions, then that's going into the next thing. Big decisions in a fast-paced environment, because like, let's say you're booking the loads yourself and or you have a dispatcher, you have like 2 to 5 minutes to get them. Like, it's not just like a quick like, oh yeah, you know, or it's not like a long, because that's what I did at first, and then I'd lose them. But we real quickly, my wife, she's amazing at it. She'll be looking at the gas calculator, this, the that, the this, how long it'll take, what city you're by, what city you're going by, what you did. There's so many decisions to making that split decision, but it's getting to the point with us working in the Midwest, we're like, okay, you know, if you got to drive 2 hours by Detroit, that's fine. Just go, let's get it. Now next, this one to me is big. Be humble, continue learning, because like I've only been doing this for like 3 months, and that's why like I still watch the other YouTubers, like, and I'm gonna continue forever because I don't know nothing. Like that's the thing is, and just be humble and learn. Like there's so many people that I see, because other people have told me that I've hooked up with certain things and logistics teams, other things, and the people are like, man, this person thought like they just knew it all, like what the heck? And then I'm like, yeah, but they're not upset, but they understand. It's like, that's a very common thing they say in this, is that people will just literally be like, I know how this goes, when they've never started this business. You know, it's like, that's why too, being humble is big in my life in general. So I just was like, I'm going into this, I always want to remain humble in everything I do, so I continue to learn and to continue to grow mentally, spiritually, everything. Get to know location, rates, time is money, because we were going on long ones, like, oh, we made a bunch of money, and then we'd get to a place that wasn't as good to get back to our area. I know you can make money everywhere, but that's why when we're in the Midwest and it's good. We even denied one going to New York the other day, because like we know the rates of our area, and we just want to remain in our area and start to really learn the rates. And I've been getting more consistent ones that I've already ran for. So I think that hopefully that means they're getting to know Musco Cargo. That's the hope. And they like me because I'm always on time. I don't mess around. don't deny everything, stay moving, because I think a lot of people just sit there and they want more and more money. And we were doing that at first. I'm only speaking from experience because we were like, oh no, we want to bid this, we're going to bid this or whatever. And then like sometimes it's just, we'd sit a little bit too long and we're like, well, no. Like that, now we're getting it. Like we're running at about 95 cents total. Like, you know, because sometimes we'll go a little lower to get back home. It's just the way it goes. No boss is just like what I love about this though. The expectations, like that's what to expect. I just love being my own boss, and it's not ego, it's not pride, it's none of that. It's just like I said, those examples I was giving you, my kids can tell the difference too. It is hard leaving them, but you know, it's to get to our goals, and freedom was the real reason that we did this. Income dependent on location, that was sort of what I was going over too, is just like a lot of people get into this. If you're not in the right location, you have to expect to leave, but because you can make crazy good money too doing that. Like, but you just, if you're trying to be local regional and you're not in a good area, and two, it depends on like gas, insurance, other factors of that state. But like I've heard some insurance is so bad. Like Detroit is one of the main ones I've heard is really bad from people who have told me with no bad driving record. Mine was like $850 for the, you know, commercial insurance, and it's like $570 or something for the full coverage. I mean, but some people have been telling me huge numbers, and I'm like, ooh, damn. Like, so that's what I mean. So then, depending on the state, how hard is it to get back home? That too, like, it depends on like what state you go to. That's what I was talking about, location and on the road. Like, we're learning, like, we just like hanging out around here, but that's the thing. It's not going to work for everyone. Like we've talked about too. Like you sometimes have to, take lower rates to get home. But then the rates balance themselves out. You get a good one going somewhere, you get a lower one coming back, and you're running at about 85, 90 cents a mile, depending on, you know, what happens. But you can't have a high expense to income ratio. And that's the thing too, is like how everything we have is paid off. We don't ever buy anything on credit. We don't have credit cards. We don't have... And like I said, that's no ego, just saying we don't have car loans. We don't do that. If you've seen our cars, I got a little weird Honda Fit, and I've had it 4 years. We have a old Chrysler Town and Country that we've had 6 years, and we just run them, you know, fix little things. That's just the way we live, and that's the way, well, you know, we were brought up, we didn't have money, but we also live financially and budgeting, and we're smart. Trust me, though, we have nice things, but we don't ever put anything on loan. Like so many people we know just, oh yeah, I got this on loan, this on loan, this on loan. And it's like, that's why I'm saying it depends on the type of person you are. And what financially you're doing. Because then I think a lot of people, what they must do is then they run forever. Like, and I understand that. Because if you have all those bills, there's no way you can just do what we're doing, 1,200 profit a week. And this week we're doing 800 profit a week. Because we're just going to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Be home Friday. And if we don't hit that goal, it's not a big deal because we have a good goose egg. What is that what it's called? Nest egg, whatever. So that's what the thing is. Our lifestyle is different. I mean, so anyways, that's what I mean. We don't spend money we don't need to spend. We have a lot of fun with our kids. I mean, we used to have Disney World passes when we lived in Florida. Just giving an example, because it's not like we just don't have fun. It's just that's the type of lifestyle we want because we're trying to get to some other financial goals. You know, coming from nothing, coming up pretty broke all our lives in our families, but our families are amazing. But just that's why I think we're more motivated than some people maybe. Not always smooth with brokers. High security, or like when it's a security, like if you guys seen the one where I went to like a nuclear site and like he didn't even tell the people like, you know, what time I'd be, nothing. I just went there, police ran upon me. Like, that's what I mean. And no matter how many times you say, okay, does the broker this, or hey broker, like, yeah, you're good, you know, like, you can get there on time. And that's the thing too, it can be annoying because, you know, they're not on time. Like when I was a straight truck driver, there were sometimes things that would happen that were annoying, but not really. It was pretty standard, you know, you knew what was going to happen. You'd go there, they knew you, oh, you're here with, you know, here you go. Like, that's the thing. It's a little different being your own boss because, like, yeah, you gotta like just trust that these guys know what's going on, and and then I start making calculated decisions off that. Like, I didn't drink my second energy drink because I felt like this dude might not know if it's open, and it was open 24 hours. But that was because there was a cleaning crew there and a couple people running machines. So that's not, you know what I mean? And that's why I didn't, thank God I didn't drink that energy drink, because I could pass out and just, you know, wake up, drop it off, continue going. So that's something to expect too. Just like start like thinking calculated when it comes to, these brokers just want you to get there. When I asked one too, I said, why are you having me go there? Or why did you have me go there when it wasn't open? And he's like, man, I'm sorry. Some of these customers just want it close by them. And, you know, some will have you tracked on apps and some don't. But it was just funny. I'm like, well, in my head, I was talking to another guy who I talked to a lot about this industry. And we were just like saying, yeah, it's so weird because if you just told me like what it is, like I could just go like, you know, be a couple hours away, get some sleep. But some do keep it honest and like not seeing even they're lying, but I think a lot of times me and my wife talk about it, they're just fiending and they're like, oh, get there. And you're like, okay, I mean, this was pointless, but all right, I'm going to go sleep for a little bit. With a dispatcher, okay, and the thing is, yes, with a dispatcher, you can average from 70 cents from what we've seen, 70 cents to $1.10. But they keep you rolling, like, as long as you're a good worker, like that's the thing too. A lot of people like, the dispatchers that I go through with no obligations, a lot of them, that's why when people talk to me about it, it's like, I don't even have attachments. Like, that's the thing, like, get them from so many different areas. But what I was going to say is they keep you rolling, though. And they do the paperwork. I mean, and there's a lot of stressors off of you. And because when I do my own and I have to factor and I have to do this and that. But I'd say on average it's 70 cents to $1.10, but averaging like 90 cents. Now load boards and stuff of that nature, or logistics teams, like I tell people to contact in their local area, because that's all I did was local. But you can average, like, you can get like $1.50, give or take. They're harder to find, and it's just like, you know, a lot of calling, but I do it. And like, then too, you can even have them just put you on an email of this and that. And I get the emails, but sometimes I'm just like, I'll look at it quick, and then I should just take more time on that. But at the same time, we're doing good. We're hitting our goals. So it's just like, and then the thing is, it is more money when you do it yourself. But the thing is too, is it really more money? Sometimes I've noticed, because I went to Cali on one I found for $1.35. I went to a couple other places for $1.50. But then when you get there, it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know. That's what I mean. It is better money. But if you get hooked up with probably something local, it probably can get pretty good. But let me tell you this, driving for a company, from what I've heard, talking to people and people who hit me up and are like, man, I want to do what you're doing. That's the thing. Like, I only know from my experience that I just didn't want that, because I felt I'll go just drive straight truck again if that's the case for a company, because I just didn't want to buy something and drive for somebody. So anyways, there's not really a lot of freedom, but I have heard that there's some that it's not forced dispatching. But then I also heard people who told me, yeah, they say it's not, but then they literally press you, and then it becomes an obligation, like, oh, we find you loads, you know what I mean? So like, that seems sort of like it turns into that same situation. I don't know. Some are way more money per load, and I was just talking to dispatchers, brokers, people have told me stuff like this, but apparently, but then you can end up sitting, and like, yeah, you make more money through them per load, but then if they can't, because they have to go through their brokerage firm, like that's the only thing they have. So like, if they don't have runs in that location, and in those bigger companies, from what I've heard, like that's why I'm saying, I'm just going off from what I heard on these ones, is that like, it's no sweat off them. They don't care. They're a huge company. That's why I like doing it on your own, no obligations to anybody, and then just finding owner-operator dispatchers online, and then that's it. I don't make it a big thing. I'm just like, yep. And then filling out carrier packets. There's so many avenues, but really wanted to go over expectations, because I feel like people, yeah, they have expectations, just like I did. That's why I'm going off experience, and then you're like, wait, this is not what I thought it would be like. But I hope this was informational, because a lot of people want to do it. I love it, but that's why I said it depends on the person. There's so many factors, depends on where you live, but Comment in this on the YouTube so I can talk to you. Other people who've been in this industry way longer can comment, because ask if you're in a good area. Ask these questions on the YouTube, because there's a lot more people on there than when you just personally message me on my Facebook. And the thing is, I'm going to be honest, my Facebook has been so blown up to where it's hard for me to even, I'm like, oh. So if it was all on YouTube, it would be a lot easier. And then too, you guys are going to get a lot more input from people who have been doing it longer. Like I said, being humble, and I want other people to get, because I've only been doing this about 3 months. And as I go along more, I'll know stuff, but I don't know, I know quite a bit from just doing this 3 months. But the thing is, if the YouTube, there's so many people on there that know more and have more experience, so it'd be cool if you guys commented on there, because I have my inbox is crazy on Facebook. Crazy. But I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and love and positivity, but a lot of the things that people ask, I send them the link to the video, because if you just, me and my wife, we watched about, hundreds of videos before we picked to do this. So I always am like this and that, and then they'll keep asking questions. But all I'm saying is, then I'm like, we have videos on these topics. Just go through the videos. So the thing is, because when I'm at home, obviously I have family time. So it's getting a little overwhelming. So it'd be cool if people just commented on YouTube, so that it's just one section of, answering questions and stuff. And then there's other people who have more knowledge, like I said. And instead of just it getting to the point where I don't even know what to say sometimes, because I have all of these most of these answers on YouTube. And that's what I say. I said, oh, here's a video. And then they'll be like, but what about this? And I'll be like, it's in the video. But anyways, I appreciate everyone, seriously. And thanks for watching. So that was it for this topic, just what to expect. But I hope everyone has a beautiful day, and drive safe. Stay safe out there.